Thank you very much, Martin. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend James, Mr. Kenyua, and all the industry, good afternoon. Let me start by saying that I'm here to represent my colleague, Cabinet Secretary Simon Cherugui, who was supposed to be the guest today, actually representing the President. But both of them, the President and CS Cherugui, are engaged in other activities. They have asked me to come here and represent them. And this is a very important gathering. That's why I decided that it is important to be with you this afternoon. Martin has asked me to come and speak some words of hope. I don't know why he would force me on what to say. So let me just say, I'll speak some words of fact. In fact, you might find some hope. But let me say that this industry, the petroleum industry, is very, very important. It's a very important part of the economy. And the big number of you who are here today actually, to me, represent the real story of what the Kenya Kwanza government is all about. When I look around, I see the people that we love most, the hustlers, the SMEs, and the businesses. And this industry, we start all the way from the upstream. We've had a lot of efforts in the last few years as a government of Kenya in terms of upstream exploration. Around 74 wells have been dug in the upstream sector. You all know that there has been a slowdown in terms of exploration. You all know what has been happening around our upstream resources, both in the Turkana area, in the Kerio Valley, and in our border with Somalia. But as a government, we are doing everything possible to unlock our upstream exploration activities and ensure that we get back on track to having our own petroleum. So I am happy to see all of you, but my wish and desire would be if only we are gathered here to market and sell our own oil. So we are all right now employees of other countries because we are here selling products from other countries. And as a government, it is a discussion we are having. We have got our CS for Energy and Petroleum, my good colleague David Chilchil, who is working day and night to ensure that we get back on track in terms of our upstream exploration. So let us hope and pray also that we be successful, we get back on track, we start again our Gamia 1, 2, up to X, and so that we will be sitting here, not talking about how to distribute and market oil from Middle East or from, the Black Sea, but our own Gamias and our own other projects that we are working on. And I hope that will happen very, very, very soon. Now, when I come to the issue of downstream, which I know is what you are meeting here to discuss, first of all, I'm very surprised, and I'm asking my friend James Mwangi, and I was listening to Martin Chomba. According to my statistics, 69% of the footprint of the downstream distribution outlets is in the hands of independents and the other dealers who are not part of the OMCs. And the other OMCs control only that 1% of the footprint. And in terms of value, market share, I think somewhere in the region of 35 to 40% is in the hands of the small independent distributors. So let me just focus on the footprint of 69% being in the hands of independent. Then I've heard Martin complain that we as government need to look at the plight of the smaller OMCs. Now, is smaller OMCs the 31% or the 69%? I'm confused. And I was asking James, how can 69% talk about the plight of small? It is the other 31% who should be asking for protection. And I have called Mr. Kenyo here in front to ask him, because I'm a bit knowledgeable in this industry. And I've asked Kenyo, when you started a new license called small OMCs? Because I am lost. I don't know who is small and who is big. And for me, that statement, Martin, underscores what is a real problem of the downstream distribution industry in the petroleum business. It's a problem of attitude, and it is a problem of acute lack of self-confidence. And I think James has mentioned about looking at this thing as opportunity. You people are the owners of this industry. And the figures I've mentioned here actually are a testament that you actually are the owners of the industry. But you need to believe in yourself. Some years back, I think 28 years ago, yes. I can't remember where I raised my hand when James asked about people from this age bracket to that age bracket. I don't know, I can't remember where I stood. But 28 years ago, I was working for one of the OMCs, I don't know if they're here. When I was fresh from school. And my boss then, my managing director, was just sitting one office next to mine. Today, he's a chairman of one of the biggest global OMCs who are in this market. Same product, like you handle. I don't know, are there people from, I think Vivo is here. Is Vivo represented here? The MD for Vivo, the chairman for Vivo, was my boss 28 years ago. And I was telling someone from Vivo, the story of the chairman of Vivo is the story of self-belief. That one day, after studying the program at Total, where he was my boss, he decided that he can do it. And he went out there and he did it. And Vivo was able now to buy out Shell when it came for time to Shell, when they made that decision not to be in that particular market segment. So the difference between that gentleman and yourself is because that gentleman believed in himself. And the difference is that he, after those years in that industry, he came to the conclusion that actually management of petroleum products is nothing to do with petroleum or fuel. Because if it's something to do with petroleum and fuel, you could be drilling. But today, whatever you are calling the big OMCs and the small OMCs, all of you are not handling our products. So if you're talking about the petroleum industry, let me talk about Saudi Arabia, where I worked for a decade, or Abu Dhabi, or Russia. Those are people who can talk about petroleum industry. You are all in the logistics industry. Sorry for that. So, ladies and gentlemen from the logistics industry. Logistics is not rocket science. It's very simple. It's a question of efficient management, financial management, and marketing. 3 basic disciplines which we are taught in our business school 101, even the village business school and polytechnics can be able to handle that. What I would want to see is, because I'm the minister in charge of trade and you are all traders and logistics people, is a situation whereby you can work together, look at your strengths. How can somebody come all the way from other continents to understand about a petrol station in Nyamira County, and we are here, surely? That should call for some introspection. And that should make us to think, because I don't know about you guys and your backgrounds and where you come from and your education and your economic status, but I know one thing, you belong to this country, so you are supposed to know this country more than anybody else, better than anybody else. It's one advantage you have. So why don't you just start from there? Start using our advantage, which most of you, 90% of who I can see here, 99% are Kenyans. And perhaps there lies your first advantage. You are Kenyans, you belong here. When I tell you about Homa Bay County, you don't go to Google. Now you are here crying about people who have to Google what is Homa Bay. And we belong here, we are born here, we understand our country, we understand the terrain, we understand our culture, we understand our economics. If there is an industry which I hope, and I've got to believe that can really be a driver of our bottom-up model, it is this petroleum industry of yours. So, as a government, we are ready. My ministry is ready. The Ministry of Energy is ready. The Ministry of SME and Cooperatives is ready to work with you. I really like this initiative of you coming together. I've talked to Martin many times over the last 10 or so years, and I've challenged. This is exactly what I would have wanted to see. You coming together, but not to cry and to whine, but to look at your strengths. You talk about SWOT analysis. Let me see you talking more about your strengths and your opportunities, not your threats and your weaknesses. It is time to change that conversation and look at really what you can do. Some few years ago, and Kinyua and EPRA team can attest to that, we made an attempt to increase the penetration of LPG in our households, in the market. That project was not extremely successful. And as I remember, I was a member of the Energy Committee in the 11th Parliament, and I remember telling C.S. Chilchil during his first term as committee, as a CS for Energy, and I was a member of the committee, that until we change the model of our LPG penetration, I don't see us succeeding. And I hate to be vindicated because I was proven right when that product did not go far, because I do believe people like yourselves, the outlets, the independent dealers, can go a long way to help the government in terms of our LPG penetration and distribution. And that opportunity is still available. So, Mr. Kinyua and Martin here, I would want to see these people being tasked to distribute LPG in the country so that we can be able to move our penetration of LPG to somewhere in the region of 25% now. And the government of Kenya would want to see this rise to 75%. And this to go alongside with the stated policy of management of climate change. I want to invite all of you, when you go back home, now we have a new directive that came from cabinet this week. And I think I have to write an apology letter to the president, because I actually forgot to ask Martin to remind me. If you followed what cabinet decided on Tuesday, as a cabinet secretary, every event that I attend, I have to plant 500 trees. And I don't know where I'm going to get 500 trees here now as a Safari Park. And I'm here with my PS for investment, Mr. Abubakar Hassan, who is also required to plant 200 trees. So Abu, maybe if you could excuse yourself, try to get some 700 trees from. Because I'm just a month old in this job, and I don't want to be fired. There are better ways to get fired. But really, you may sit, Abu, but really, our government strategy on afforestation, management of climate change, mitigation of climate change, vis-a-vis our project on LPG penetration are going to go hand in hand. And I really do hope that we can be able to work with you to work together, not only in terms of increasing the penetration of LPG, but also to help us in our very ambitious afforestation project, whose patron is none other than the President of the Republic of Kenya. Also, in 2018, and I'm proud to have been the mover of that initiative in Parliament, in the 12th Parliament, when we addressed the issue of adulteration of fuel. And this problem was because of the mismatch that existed between the price of kerosene and diesel and petrol. We tried to address that, of course, through the anti-adulteration levy. I remember when it was being signed, I was right here standing behind President Uhuru Kenyatta, because I was very proud. And from that time, adulteration came down. We were able to really stamp our foot on adulteration. But now, I understand we are back to the days of adulteration. Let me give you the bad news. If you are in this business of adulteration, stop it. Because the government of Kenya will not allow that. On the basis of loss of revenue, on the basis of safety. I know some of you are in this practice, but let me give you, I'm a Catholic who believes in repentance and forgiveness of sins. So let me give you a chance to change by yourself, because one will not like it in terms of the measures that we are going to take on this issue of adulteration. I know the situation on the issue of jet fuel, and I know some people are taking. But I'm not debating on it. We have to stamp out the adulteration. So I know some people are taking advantage of the depressed demand on jet fuel to divert our jet fuel. I'll be having a conversation with my colleague, C.S. Churchill, to actually create a separate window at the Kenya pipeline for jet fuel, and to have very strict controls. Today, out of 100 million liters of product that comes as kerosene, how come it's only 10 million that gets its way to our homes? So the rest is for diversion and reselling to the, vice versa, either to the aviation industry or from aviation industry And this is nothing but illicit trade practices, which is not going to be allowed. And Mr. Kinyua, I'm asking you to do that. Put in measures with Kenya Pipeline to stop that obvious abuse and misuse. Because if it doesn't happen, as a person who moved the 18 shilling arbitration levy, I'll have no option but to go and put another 18 shillings. And that will hurt Wanjiku. And you know, we are a bottom-up government. So I think you are better off separately. I want to see a situation whereby importation of jet fuel is left to the aviation industry only. Yeah? Because that is the only way we are going to stop this abuse. So if you import kerosene, you're thinking you are going to go and look for this and that airline to sell to them. We are going to put control there. If you are from this and that airline and you siphon your kerosene to be sold as HK to our homes, you are endangering our lives and the lives of our people. And the government of Kenya is not going to allow that to happen. Let me finish by outlining some measures that the government is taking to streamline this industry. One, as you know, we continue to hemorrhage our foreign exchange resources on the back of importation of fuel. Importation of fuel is the largest single contributor to our foreign reserves depletion. And we are getting dangerously close to a crisis situation in terms of our forex availability. And so the government has taken measures led by the president himself to work with multilateral banks, to work on some solutions that enable us to be less dependent on immediate use of foreign exchange to fulfill our fuel requirements. Those discussions are at advanced stages, and the president will be able to pronounce himself very soon. As a matter of fact, next week during the Jamhuri Day, you can expect the president to pronounce himself in terms of the measures that his government is taking in terms of ensuring that it is good to import fuel products, but not at the expense of destabilizing our Kenya shilling and our currency, and the measures that the president is taking are going to go a long way to stabilizing and strengthening the shilling, and so therefore, I know most of you are keeping money in dollars in your homes. Please remove the dollars. Otherwise, mutalia. Yeah? Let us believe in our currency, and let's strengthen our currency. And then when the president is done in terms of the measures that he's taking in terms of fuel importation and minimizing the dependence on foreign currency, I think we are going to get into a very good macroeconomic situation, very good monetary policy in terms of the strengthening our Kenya shilling and ensuring that we retain our country competitiveness. The other area that the government is taking is we are talking to our friends, we are talking to our partner countries, we are talking to the oil producing countries, and CS Chill is barely in this country for more than 5 days a month, because he's out there trying to get us a solution to enter into the era of cheaper fuel. So it's coming. Cheaper fuel is coming. And we are all working together to help CS Chill and the National Treasury, to help with our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, my Ministry of Trade, to ensure we all talk to our friends out there, to talk to them and see if we can be able to enter into government-to-government contracts that are able to give us cheaper fuel. Once that happens, and I'm very certain it will happen, of course, if we get successful on the G2G framework for importation of fuel, it means we have to do some things differently. It means we have to change and to transform. That transformation, of course, have to work by not disrupting our institutions, like the OTS. So we have no intention to disrupting the OTS. We are trying to work on a situation whereby we'll be able to get cheaper fuel, but within the OTS reformed and transformed framework. So as we transform this OTS framework, that is your chance now, Martin, to bring your agenda also. Let us I am one advocate who has been advocating. I've talked to CS Chilchil, I've talked to CS Treasury, that even as we do this ethnotrans, disrupt the supply chain that has been created over the last X number of years by OTS. But also we want to see a more democratic OTS. And as James has said, even you people have to be on the table in that discussion. Yeah? So as a minister in charge of trade, I am going to work with all of you, all the stakeholders, to ensure big OMCs, who I don't know how big they are because they're only at 1%. Small OMCs, who I don't know how small they are because they are 69%. The big and the small, kila mtu atakuwa kwa meza. Mtu wa knife and fork, mtu wa kukula na mikono. Sote tutakuwa kwa hii meza ama tutaanguka na meza. Ama namna. So that is a conversation that is going to involve everyone. And it's because we have nothing to hide. We want to carry everyone with us. We want to move forward to the future together. When we took over government 3 months ago, we found a monster called subsidies. And with President William Samoei Ruto took that bold decision to say that we are not going to be subsidizing consumption. Instead of subsidizing maize flour, let us subsidize production of maize so that the cost can come down, but without distorting the markets. Instead of subsidizing 1 liter of petrol, let me go out there and look for cheaper fuel and talk to our government and get into G2G and reform the OTS so that automatically the pump price of petrol and diesel will come down without distorting the markets. That is the proper economics. This other one is just putting a patient on a life support machine and thinking that he is healed. It is not sustainable, and it is bad policy. It is bad economics, it is unsustainable, and it actually distorts markets. So I'm just saying this so that all of you can know where we are going. What we say in private is what we say publicly, so that you people, because you are investors, can be able to take the right investment decision, not based on fantasy, but based on sound, predictable, reliable economic policies of the government of Kenya. Now, I know issues have been raised about your ability to access fuel. The government is ready to help you. The government is ready, as a matter of fact, as we reform the OTS in line with G2G framework, accessibility of product to all of you is going to be right there on top of the table, on top of the discussion. So that one, count on me and count on the President of the Republic of Kenya, count on our other ministers to help you. But you also have to do your work. You have to comply with standards. EPRA is not a policeman. EPRA exists for the good of you. EPRA is your marketing agent whom you are not paying. Because if everybody has a confidence that that product at the pump is of the right quality and the right standards, even your customers will have more confidence. We had a situation during the shortage of fuel, the crisis of last year, whereby I went to Nyahururu and I was queuing like everyone to fuel at Shell. And there was a long queue of bodas and everybody. And I got tired of queuing, so I went to the next station, which was, I think, an independent station called Kifaru or something, or Nyuki or Twiga. They always happen to have animal names for some reason, yeah. And to my shock and horror, I discovered that Kifaru or Twiga, they had fuel. So what is the difference? It's about perception, consumer confidence, and standards. So even as I help you to be on the table, help yourself. Have a discussion with EPRA. They are not policemen. They are here to help you. They are here to help you to achieve the standards and to achieve confidence from your own customers, not their customers, so that you can be able to increase your market share and you can be able to increase your sales. Please work on your image. Station zenu zimechapa sana. Kusema ni hasara, sio kusema uchape. So you still can do something. And Martin, there's some work there, and KEPSA also. Help these people to, not only to be good, I know they are good, but it's not enough to be good. You have to be good and look good. I think those are not mutually exclusive. We can be able to achieve all of them. So please, let me finish by asking you to work together, assist each other, cooperate with each other, stop adulterating, improve on your stations. We have got a lot of financial solutions now, starting from the Hustler Fund to other funds which are within my ministry, within the Ministry of SMEs, which can help you. There is no reason why you should not be getting your own product and your own fuel. I know the banks, and I saw Equity Bank is here, and we've had this discussion with James Mwangi over the years. I know our financial system has been heavily tilted in favor of the big OMCs. Now, with the Kenya Kwanza government, we have financial solutions for the big OMCs and the so-called small OMCs. We are available, we are ready, and our doors are open to support you, including in financial negotiation with banks. Because, as I say, it is enough that you invested in your station. It is enough that you have put the right management. Only in Kenya, as I said the other day, you expect somebody to have good management, a good idea, concept, good location, and still they expect you to be very rich as to fund all that. In other countries, it is enough. Somebody comes with the money, another one comes with the idea, another one comes with a good management. In Kenya, you are expected to be rich, handsome, and also you sing well. Sometimes it's possible, but in most cases, it is not possible to have all three. So you've not done any mistake by not being very deep-pocketed. Somebody else should come with money. Somebody else will come with technology. Somebody else should come with marketing. Somebody else should come with good management and comply with the standards so that all of us can be able to work together. So with those few remarks, I want to assure you that my office is available, it's ready. The office of the CS4 Energy and Petroleum, the office of the CS4 SME and Cooperatives, to work with you and for you, because that is a mandate you've given us to work for the people of this country and to change our economy. Asanteni sana, and God bless you all. Thank you very much.